Ole Miss is welcoming in one of the top recruiting classes in the country after yesterday's huge signing day.
Signing day may be over, but the excitement has not settled down just yet. Good evening, I'm Chandler Morgan.
And I'm Jennifer Lott. We've got some incredible athletes set to become Rebels in the fall from all over the country.
Meredith Parker joins us right now for a recap of the 2016 recruiting class. Meredith?
Yesterday was a huge day for the Ole Miss Rebels, and it is no surprise that fans, students, and coaches are ecstatic. But what are the experts saying about the Ole Miss recruiting class? Anchors from around the country weigh in, as well as one of our own experts.
I love what Ole Miss did. I think this class is as star-studded as their 13 group, but it's deeper. They get the quarterback in Shea Patterson. They get the #1 left tackle in the country in Greg Little, and athletes at every single position down the board. Great job by you three.
I think Ole Miss does a really good job of identifying the influencer, and by that I mean, look, who is going to help make this kid's decision? Is it the high school coach? Is it the mom? Is it the brother? You know, figuring out all those factors are very important. They get Greg Little. They get Shea Patterson, who I think is the most polished quarterback in the country. I don't think he's the most talented. If you like tools, you probably go with Eason at Georgia, who we'll talk about in a little while. Right. If you like polish, you probably like Patterson. I think that he'll sit this year behind Chad Kelly and come in and immediately be an impact player in the SEC as a redshirt freshman or as a true sophomore.
We improved in depth in a lot of areas. I guess the biggest one would be the offensive line. A lot of holes to fill, especially with Tunsil leaving. And Free said yesterday he thought they might have signed the best offensive line class in the country. You got a lot of depth all the way from Royce Newman to Eli Johnson, and it's kind of highlighted by the #1 offensive tackle in the country, and Greg Little, which is a huge get. And that was a much need for a line that was pretty thin in 2015. That kind of cost us some football games down the stretch. I think Freeze would attest to that too. So we improved in a lot of areas there.
The 2016 recruiting class was ranked 7th nationally and will join the team officially in August. Back to you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Meredith. And if you missed NewsWatch's signing day coverage, you can rewatch the full broadcast anytime you like by going to our YouTube channel, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
We're into our first week of February, and we've already had several Black History Month celebrations on campus. This afternoon, you may have noticed several young men walking across campus. Amani Flowers tells us about today's Legacy Walk.
Starting at the Lyceum Stairs, a new prestigious African-American organization known as the Men of Excellence hosted Continuing the Legacy, retracing the steps towards excellence this afternoon.
Injury in order to see it do better. I learned about some historical sites that I had no clue that were historical sites, and that was very interesting to me, and I'd love to give that tour myself one day. One of the most to make sure that the guys in the organization knew the impact that James Meredith had on our campus, and just to know that we are walking in the legacy of a courageous man that once walked here at the University of Mississippi.
Also to add, the organization, along with other students, stopped at each location, giving a moment of silence for 62 seconds. For NewsWatch, I'm Imani Flowers.
We are officially in primary season for the 2016 election, and Americans are getting their first chance to cast their vote for who will take the White House next year. But there are still many important things to watch out for as the campaign trail continues. Serena Henderson is standing by in our newsroom to tell us what to look forward to as the primary races continue. Serena?
Politics are continuing to heat up. After the Iowa caucus comes primaries, political party conventions, and eventually the 2016 presidential election. At this time, there is much to know about American politics, but in recent years, college students have been proven to not know enough. In 2014, a political organization out of Texas Tech quizzed students about the nation's politics. Take a look.
Who is our vice president?
Don't know. I have no idea. Of right now? I don't know.
What's his name? Oh my gosh. I have his name I have his face in my head.
Who is the vice president? Is that like a trick question?
Nope.
Okay. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Don't know.
Joe Biden.
Yes. I don't know.
You're not the only one. A lot of people don't know.
No, but I still feel
So, college students, it's not too late to get familiar with politics in the upcoming 2016 presidential election. You can sharpen your political knowledge tonight by tuning in to the Democratic debate on MSNBC. For NewsWatch, I'm Serena Henderson. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thousands of new jobs coming to Mississippians.
And a sneak peek at some of those Super Bowl ads that everyone loves. But first, Abby McIntosh has our look at the current weather conditions.
Good evening, Oxford. Looking at our current conditions, it's chilly out there with temperatures in the low 40s at 42 degrees. We're seeing clear and sunny skies, which is a great improvement from what we saw earlier this week. It's a little windy out there with winds out of the northwest at 6 miles per hour, but because of the sun, we have no chances of rain. Looking at our current satellite image, all of this rain on the east coast is actually part of that storm system that moved through our area on Tuesday evening that brought heavy rain and even a tornado watch to our area. But behind that cold front are chilly temperatures and a high pressure system that is going to bring us sunny skies for the next few days. Looking at our current temperatures across the region, we're cold out there with temperatures in the low 40s, South Haven at 41, Holly Springs and Corinth also at 41 degrees, Oxford at 42 degrees, while Tupelo is at 44 degrees. Looking at tomorrow's high temperatures, we're going to be a little bit warmer than we were today. South Haven at 54, Holly Springs, Corinth, and Tupelo at 53, while Oxford will be at 52 degrees. Looking at tonight's forecast, we're actually going to be below freezing at 25 degrees, clear skies, but because of the winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, it's actually going to feel like the upper teens tonight. So make sure that if you are out and about, you have a jacket because you're going to need it. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, we're going to warm up to 52 degrees. The clear and sunny skies are here to stay because of that high pressure system. Winds light and variable, but because of this clear and sunny skies, no chances of rain. Looking at our extended 5-day forecast, the sun is here to stay at least for the next few days. We're actually going to warm up before we cool back down going into the first part of next week, but going into Super Bowl Sunday, I think it's going to be fantastic weather.
And that is good news because I've been looking forward to a sunny Sunday with some nice football for a really long time.
It's going to be great if you want to go out and barbecue before the big game. I think the weather is going to be absolutely fantastic.
And it's kind of tricky because you look at the sun and you think it's going to be warm, but it's still got that cold temperature to it. So, I mean, it's still got to bring a jacket.
Yeah, well, because of that drop in the jet stream, it's bringing that Arctic cold air down.
Thank you for that, Abby.
Welcome to Rebel Watch. I'm Kelsey Davis. Now let's get right into it from some highlights when the Ole Miss Rebels took on Missouri last night. As you can see, we have Stephon Moody going down the court. From behind the arc, he goes up and it's a three. He hits it. He's been on fire for the Rebs lately. Coach Kennedy calls him their very own Batman. It's Moody again, down the floor, but this time he finds Rasheed Brooks, who goes up for the layup. The Rebs are ahead. And again, now we're in the second half. The Rebs are ahead, but Mizzou, they hit a three from behind the arc. Mizzou's down 41-43, but again, another three. They hit 8 threes in the second half. It was absolutely insane. So Mizzou's up 44-43. Again, Rebs are down late in the second half as Moody finds Tomas Giello at the top of the arc, who hits a three to start a Rebs comeback. 72-73 as Anthony Kennedy tries to find that last play. Moody has the ball, he goes in the paint and gets fouled. You won't see it, but he ends up making both of these free throws, putting the Rebs ahead 74-73. Last play for the Tigers, he goes in, and it's no good. Rebs win 74-73. They pull it out. And that'll put the Rebs ahead at 5-4 in SEC play, where they will be playing Vandy here in the Pavilion at 6 o'clock on Saturday. Now on to the women's basketball team. The Rebels took a road trip to Tuscaloosa and will be facing off against Alabama at 6 p.m. tonight. Coming off a loss to Missouri, Ole Miss is looking for a win to snap their 2-game losing streak. This last time these two teams faced was last season when the Rebs beat the Tide 77-63. This year, the Ole Miss team is one of the youngest in the SEC and will be relying on sophomores Sandrika Sessum and Aqueen Hayes to continue leading the team in scoring if the Rebs hope to pull out their first win in Tuscaloosa since 2012 and their first road win of this season. With both of these teams at the bottom of the SEC, it will be an opportunity for one of them to pick up a much-needed win. And now that an exciting signing day has come to an end, it's time to talk winners and losers around the SEC. Coming in first is the reigning national champs. Alabama pulled in a monster recruiting class that included Lindell Wilson and Ben Davis, 2 5-star linebackers, as well as the emotional signing from Cheyenne Carter, a 4-star cornerback from Louisiana who chose the Tide over his home state Tigers. Even without Carter, the Tigers were still one of the winners of the day. They ended with the 3rd-ranked recruiting class in the country due to 9 of the top 10 players in Louisiana signing their national letters of intent to play for LSU. And the 3rd big winner of the day was the Ole Miss Rebels. They ended up 6th in the nation, pulling in 5-star left tackle Greg Little and 4-star wide receiver A.J. Brown. Unfortunately, not everyone around the SEC had success, with Mizzou finishing 50th in the country and Vandy finishing 53rd. And we here at NewsWatch weren't the only ones excited about signing day yesterday. Over at the quarterback club, all eyes were on Ole Miss's brand new recruiting class. Madison Van Zyl has the story.
Members fill the air with cheers and Rebel yells as potential signees commit to Ole Miss. As more signees commit to Ole Miss, the crowd grows louder.
Here at the Oxford Conference Center, the Ole Miss quarterback club are on the edge of their seats in anticipation for this year's signees.
Very good character players. That's the kind of guy Hugh Freeze brings in. So, excellent quality, excellent depth.
4-star safety Deontay Anderson is one of the many top recruits to commit to Ole Miss this year. Athletic Director Ross Bjork praised Ole Miss athletics for its leadership and its all-around excellence. Chancellor Jeffrey Vitter also talked to the club about his excitement for this year's football season.
Ever seen. And it didn't take very long for us to become true red and blue Ole Miss Rebels.
Madison Van Zyl, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Now that's all the sports we have for you today. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at @Rebel_Watch and tune in to Rebel Watch tomorrow at 3 p.m. NewsWatch will be right back.